live and watch our stream. Very special guest joining us right now. He is running against Leonard Lance in New Jersey, the 7th District, I believe. Former Assistant Secretary of State in the Obama administration. Tom Malinowski joins us now. Tom, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great.
Happy day after Martin Luther King Day.
And to you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So you're running in the 7th District in New Jersey against Leonard Lance, correct?
That's right.
How's that district look? How are the demographics? What are your chances?
I think our chances are really good. This is one of those suburban northeastern districts that has been trending away from Republicans in recent years. Hillary Clinton won the district. It's one of 23 in the country that Hillary won, but that still has a Republican representative.
Mm-hmm.
And the tax bill that the Congress just passed is just devastating to people in this district, including a lot of folks who used to vote Republican.
Did Leonard vote for that?
He voted against it. He's from New Jersey, but he failed to stop it, and it passed. And
right.
I think folks know, you want to change that. You're not going to change it by sending a Republican congressman back to a Republican Congress.
Yeah, but it's obvious too. I've seen him on TV too. He's been trying to be a so-called moderate Republican because he knows he's in jeopardy. So there's going to be a primary. I know. Are you the only Democrat running right now, or?
No, there are several others.
Okay.
I think we're in a very strong position, and we'll see how it shakes out.
Now you were Tom Malinowski with us, folks. 1:15. You were Assistant Secretary of State in the Obama administration. And what was your portfolio? I'm sorry, I don't know that.
I was Assistant Secretary for Human Rights and Democracy.
Okay. But most notably, I saw the piece that you wrote in Politico. I blew the whistle on Russian meddling. Now I am running for Congress. Talk to us about that, and it's very well written. It really reads. It opens very dramatically, almost like a novel. Perhaps you should write one. That's just a suggestion. But talk to us about.
One right now.
I know that's right. That's what I'm saying. You may as well just keep a diary, and then we'd have a novel. It wouldn't be hard to pull together. You went to the Senate to inform them on, or at least enlighten them as to what Russia was doing in terms of interfering with our elections, correct?
Yeah, so go back a year from today, last January. We still have a couple of weeks left in the Obama administration. We knew something had happened. We didn't know then as much as we know now, but we knew that the Russians had done something. And we had no idea there would be an investigation at that point. We didn't know there would be a Senate committee doing what it's doing. We didn't know Bob Mueller would be appointed. And we were worried that all the information that we had uncovered to that point would just get buried. And so a lot of us, not just me, were racing against time to try to figure out as much as we could about what happened, to make sure that information was secure, and to make sure that it was delivered to members of Congress who we hoped would be encouraged to investigate.
Mm-hmm. And you went to the Hill to encourage them to investigate, to try to find out more, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, at one point, what I mentioned in the article is that I hand carried a piece of paper with some serial numbers written on it. These are serial numbers of intelligence reports that have been compiled over the last several weeks in hopes that members of Congress would request the actual reports. Of course, the reports are classified, the serial numbers are not, so I could carry those over. The good news is that the investigations did happen. We now know so much more than we knew then.
Sure.
And whatever we think about what Trump did, whether he colluded or not, what should happen about that, we know that a foreign power interfered in our democracy. We know that it could happen again. And Congress hasn't done a single thing to close our vulnerabilities as a country.
What was the reaction to those elected officials that you shared that information with?
They were very concerned. And, that we know that in the end, at least in the U.S. Senate, a bipartisan investigation was launched. And that's not, I don't want to say that was because of what I did or a few of us in the Obama administration did. I think it's more than anything because our free press in America did its job and discovered a lot of disturbing information about what the Trump campaign may have been involved with.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll take its course. We got to make sure the FBI and the Justice Department stay independent, that they can continue that investigation. In the meantime, though, we know that our electoral systems are vulnerable. We know that our financial system is vulnerable. We know that Facebook and social media are vulnerable, and we need to be acting on those things now.
Tom Malinowski with us, folks. So now, you said you don't want to necessarily take the credit for it, but would your actions qualify in the category of what we heard about Obama administration officials leaving breadcrumbs? We heard that a lot as you all were leaving office, leaving breadcrumbs. Would this fall into that category?
Well, I think we just wanted to make sure that we knew as much as we possibly could about what the Russians did, that we knew as much as we possibly could about what members of the Trump campaign maybe did, and that information would not just disappear when we left office on January 20th.
Gotcha.
And I think all of us collectively, and I include engaged American citizens and our free press, all of us, I think, succeeded because we now know enough to be extremely disturbed about the vulnerability of our democracy to that kind of interference.
Yeah. Tom Malinowski, folks, 20 minutes past the hour. So why run for Congress? What's motivating you? What's inspiring you, Tom, to run for Congress at this time?
Oh, so many things. I think Trump may have won the election. I don't want him to win the argument about who we are as a people. I'm disturbed by everything from attacks on immigrants and the Dreamers and his inability to know the difference between white supremacists and patriotic Americans who protest against them. I'm disturbed by the attacks on our health care and this tax bill, which I think is a terrible statement of our values as a country and hurts states like New Jersey in particular. And at one point I got tired of tweeting about it and decided I wanted to do something about it. So I'm running.
You wrote in your piece, and folks will, Andrew, let's be sure to put his piece out there. Just add it to the thread on the stream because I want people to actually see the piece he wrote. Very articulately, you lay out 3 things that we need to do to secure our democracy. Very succinct, Tom. Walk us through those, if you would.
So one very simple thing is we got to protect our election day machinery. Here in New Jersey, where I'm running, we still have voting machines that don't have a paper trail.
Yeah.
That stuff can be hacked. And if it is, there's no way to know how people actually voted. So there are bills in Congress that have been proposed that would create standards for secure election day machinery and help states upgrade their equipment to make sure that we can all vote safely. So that's number one. That's easy.
Yeah.
Number two, the foreign money that can still flow into America in ways that cannot be traced. It is still, this is amazing to me, it is still possible for, say, a Russian oligarch or a South American drug criminal
Mm-hmm.
to set up in the United States a company that is anonymously owned. So you got the company, but nobody knows who the owner is. And once you've done that, you can do things like buy a condo in a Donald Trump building in South Florida and put a lot of money in his pocket. You can donate lots of money to a super PAC and try to influence political campaign. And, in terms of Trump, we know that a significant number of the people investing in his properties are anonymous. We don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, there's legislation that's been proposed that would close that loophole. And then finally, and this is the most complicated and maybe most important part, it's to deal with the propaganda on our social media, on Facebook and Instagram. These platforms that we get so much of our news from, they are designed to tell us what we want to hear and not to give us information that we might disagree with. And so it creates these bubbles where people on the far right, they just get stuff they agree with. People on the far left get stuff they agree with. And the result is we just start hating each other more and more.
Right. Right.
And the Russians tried to influence that and stoke those flames. Hard to deal with, but one thing that I propose is we have rules against bots. These are basically robots, artificial accounts on the internet that will tweet out something 100 times a minute to boost its popularity.
Right. Right.
And so they use them. Someone puts a conspiracy theory out on Facebook that, Hillary Clinton ran a child sex ring in a pizza parlor.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use bots to boost the popularity
Right.
of that post. So it looks like all your friends are sharing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not your
yeah.
friends, it's robots. So what I suggest is that if you're a robot on the internet, you got to at least identify yourself as not human. And so we know we're not talking to a human being. So those are a few ideas. There are a lot of other good ideas out there. And I guess my final idea is put them all into one piece of legislation. Call it the Defend American Democracy Act, so that in 2018, when we go to the polls, we can demand that people who are running for Congress be for it. And if they're not, we'll know it.
And obviously, Tom Malinowski with his folks to do what you're suggesting. We need a Democratic Congress, by all means. That's why it's important, folks. These midterms are important. Folks, we're headed to Vegas for the first anniversary of the Women's March this weekend, and they've got a Power to the Polls campaign they're going to launch to take back the House and the Senate. Voting for Democrats is one way to do that. Tom Malinowski is one of the Democrats running in the 7th District in New Jersey. Former member of the Obama administration, State Department Assistant Secretary of State. Will Obama endorse you and come and campaign for you, Tom? Are you going to ask him, or what do you think?
I hope you'll ask him.
You want me to ask him?
Look, I hope. I loved working for President Obama. He reminded us every day of what it means to have a leader of integrity and honesty and patriotism. And I miss him, and I'd love to see him in New Jersey campaigning for Democrats who have a chance to win in November.
Tom Malinowski with us, folks. So, Tom, you got a few other candidates I see running against you. What do your chances look like? How's your fundraising going? Let us know what's happening.
Again, chances are good. This is a district Democrat can win. It's a district Hillary Clinton won in 2016. Fundraising is great. We raised more money in our opening quarter than any New Jersey challenger has ever raised in history.
Okay.
So we are well positioned to run a winning campaign against a vulnerable Republican in this New Jersey district, and be one of the 24 Democrats that flips the House in 2018.
Mm-hmm. As an old political hand, what's that? So how big is that district, population-wise?
It's like 650,000, 600,000.
That's not
It's
small.
mostly suburban and rural, very spread out, very beautiful. And I think people are looking for change here in November.
How is that that's somewhat of a challenge though, to be so suburban and rural? What's your outreach like in terms of reaching the voters in a district like that? What's your plan of attack?
Well, number one, there is such an energized grassroots movement here.
Okay.
We got little towns in the 7th District where a year or two ago, if Democratic club or some local activist group had called a meeting, maybe 2 people would come.
Okay.
And today it's 40 or 50 people coming out. And that's happening all by itself. That's not some political campaign.
Okay. Yeah.
That's drawing those people out.
Organic.
So it's organic, and those people are ready to go to support a strong Democratic candidate in November. It is the Northeast. It's the New York media market, so it's expensive to advertise here. But we are we're getting a lot of support to run a well-financed campaign that can reach into people's homes through cable television and social media and all the other stuff we do these days. So not going to be it's going to be close, but it's so winnable, and I think a lot of people are excited about this race.
Sounds like it. Sounds exciting. You're getting me excited. It's very interesting. I like those kinds of challenges in areas like that. You're gonna, but like you said, suburban and rural. You're gonna do some door to door.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna knock on as many doors as I can.
Yeah,
that's a lot of neighbors and friends who are going to be out there with me.
Yeah, that's the secret, man. In a race like that, door to door, you can pull it off. Well, Tom, good luck to you. So tell us your website. You need some money?
Oh yeah.
That's what I thought.
You know, when you raise a little bit, they look at you and say, "Oh, that means you can do some more."
Yeah.
And we're going to need to. So website is Malinowski for NJ.com. And I know that's a really simple name for folks, but you can put it up there, and with my article, I'd appreciate that. And
yeah, please
take a look and see if they like what they see.
We'll put that we'll definitely put that out there, and folks, if you like what you're hearing, be sure to give to Tom and support him. We want to have a big blue wave next year, and so you grew up in Princeton, and in Princeton, I see you're from New Jersey.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Lived here through my 20s, then went off to work for President Clinton, President Obama, and now I want to be a congressman who actually votes like he's from New Jersey, unlike the guy we got.
Folks, Tom also worked for former Senator Moynihan and, I didn't realize this, the Washington Director for Human Rights Watch. So
that's right.
That's good to know as well. And has dedicated much of his life to human rights and wants to do something about securing our democracy. Check out the website. We'll tweet it out. Malinowski for NJ.com. Let's tweet it out. Tom, good luck to you, man. Let's talk again. And good luck in the race, okay?
Anytime. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, likewise, man. Thanks for the insight.
All right.
Bye-bye. Take care now. Tom Malinowski for Congress. Malinowski for